Dear YouTube viewers, I'm Banjo McKenzie. I'm making a video about a rip-off bank experience I had here in Accra, Ghana, when I went to a bank by the name of Prudential to open a bank account. I present all of my information to open this account with the account manager. This incident took place on March 8, 2024, which was on a Friday. I was told by the account manager to count out the money I was going to open the account with. So I counted a total of $13,600 to open the account. I explained to the account manager that the total amount was $13,600. A lady who worked at the bank left from her desk, came and took up the money to give to the teller to count out the money by way of the machine. I did not say anything when this lady came and took up the money from the account manager desk because I thought it was a part of the bank policy. I was told to go to the teller window to watch her count out the money by way of the machine, but I did not see when this lady gave the teller the money to count it out. But when the teller counted out the money, it came to $10,300. While at the teller window, I was saying to myself, how come the money I count out come to be $10,300 when I did count out a total of $13,600 to open the account? I left from the bank, and on my way home, I tried to call the bank to speak to someone about the money, but I was not able to speak with anyone about the money. So on the Monday morning, I went to the bank to speak to the manager about the money that did not match up to what I did count out at the manager desk. Unfortunately, I could not get anywhere trying to speak to the bank about the money. So I went to the police station and I was told to speak to a detective. I spoke to a detective about the money I have lost at the bank. The detective told me he will go with me to the bank to have a look at the videotape of the bank to see what took place when this lady took up the money from the account manager desk to go to give it to the teller to count it out. The detective saw the videotape at the bank when the lady take up the money from the account manager desk to go and give the money to the teller to count it out. But according to the detective, he did not see anything wrong when this lady took up the money from the account manager desk. This detective did not have the courtesy to ask the account manager how much money did I count out at his desk to open the account before this lady came and take up the money to go and give it to the teller to count it out. So from the detective point of view, I had no case against the bank and this lady who did take up the money. So after I came to the knowledge of how the detective saw things in favor of the bank, because I think he was paid off by the bank to see things different from the way it was. I went to see a lawyer about taking my case to the court. I gave the lawyer a retainer fee of 2,700 CD to take the matter to court. The next day, the lawyer called me up and said to me that after thinking about the case with her associate, she thinks I may lose more money by taking the matter to court, more than what I have lost to the bank. So she was very kind in my money to my account in the bank. I also spoke to another lawyer to take my case to court, and he informed me that I would have to pay him $1,500 to take the case to court. But so far, I have not heard anything from this lawyer. I must point out that I've lived in the United States for over 50 years. And I never have this kind of experience at any bank in the United States until I came to Ghana. I must point out that many of the crookedness that here in Ghana, the Caribbean, and so on, it is because many people watch the TV or the internet and pattern themselves after the crooks of the United States and Europe. So it becomes a way of life for many people here, the Caribbean, elsewhere, by way of crookedness and robbery to get rich. After this rip-off experience at Prudential Bank, I closed my account with them and I went and opened another account at another bank by the name of Ecobank. So I pay Prudential to transfer the remainder of my money to my new account at Ecobank. This took place on April 17, 2024, but from I established this account on April 17 at Ecobank, someone from within the bank had been drawing my money from my account. How did I came to this knowledge about someone has been taking my money from my account? It was because Ecobank sent me a text message of the balance I had in my account. So when I saw the balance showing in the text message, I decided to go to the bank to speak to a bank clerk about the matter because I knew I was supposed to have more money in the account than what was sent to me in the text message. I was given a printout statement showing of the various transaction that was taken from my account. So after I received the printout statement of my account, I went to speak to the bank manager about the money that was taken from my account. While going to see the bank manager, I took along my Mac laptop computer that when I leave from the bank, I will take the computer to the repair shop to have it checked out because I thought to myself there must be some virus with the computer. While speaking to the bank manager, someone from within the bank came and stole my computer from out of my computer bag that was right at my feet in the bank. This distraction happened because I was speaking to the bank manager about the money taken from my account. So I was told that my account was put on hold until the bank have the chance to check out things. So I lost from this bank at Echo a total of 37,000 CD to crooks from within the bank. Also, after this bank incident, I was in the city of Tamale, where I was renting a garage workshop to open an auto body shop. I paid the landlord $10,000 for 1 year rent of the garage because the rent of the garage was $1,000 per month. So after I rented this garage to open my auto body shop, I had to go to the city to apply for the various permits and license to open my business. After paying all of these various fees to the city to get my license to operate my business, I was informed by the city that in order for me to open my business, I would have to have a Ghanaian as a shareholder in my business, and I would have to pay the city of Tamale another 127,000 CD to open the business. So I decided not to pay this extra 127,000 CD to the city of Tamale to open my business. By so doing, it caused the landlord to break the lease because I could not operate the business without the various license and permit from the city. So because of this situation, it caused me to lose 4,000 to the landlord from the 10,000 I did pay him for the whole year of the garage, because the landlord told me that he had to bring in toilets in the building, electric and water, because these things was not in the building when I was renting the garage from this landlord. So I'm making this video to make many Amite people who would want to come to Ghana to live and to open their business. That there are a lot of sharks and snakes in high places here in Ghana who love to prey and take advantage of many of their struggling people who would want to come to Ghana, who they call as the returnee or the diasporan. They need to realize that many Amite people in the land and the world over are suffering from a slavery colonial mentality that caused many of them not to have any real love and unity among their own people, but only to take advantage of robbing and stealing from each other. I also want to encourage many Amite people who are coming from overseas to Ghana that they must be very careful with their monies when they go to banks to open their account, because there are a lot of crooks here in Ghana and elsewhere here in the motherland. I would also like to explain of the disadvantage that many poor Ghanaians have to go through, and also in many other countries of the land of Ham, who take advantage of their many poor struggling people by paying them low wages that cost many of them to live from hand to mouth. So in other words, many of these poor struggling people of Ghana will never have the opportunity to uplift themselves from out of povertyness because of low wages many of them receive who have jobs. Plus, buying gasoline here in Ghana, they do not sell it by the gallon like that of United States, but by the liters. Although Ghana have oil, so 1 liter is equivalent to 1 quart. So it makes it very hard for many ordinary people to live and survive from day to day here in Ghana. Plus, many of the things are very expensive to buy here in Ghana. I was told by a fellow Ghanaian man who I met working for the Kenyan airline here in Ghana. He told me that he only get paid $200 per month as his wages. And this is a standard procedure for many poor people working here in Ghana who get paid by the month from these little meager wages many of them receive, that many of them can hardly afford to live and survive on from day to day. So this is the reason why many poor Amite people left from the motherland to run to Europe, or what became known as the United States and Canada by the British, to seek a better wages and better opportunities that many of them will never get these opportunities here in the motherland to better themselves because of the low wages many of them receive who had jobs. Also, many of these Amite political leaders who see themselves as presidents and leaders of their own people allow many foreign companies to come into the various countries of the land of Ham to use many of their poor brothers and sisters by paying them very low wages, that many of them can hardly live and survive by these low wages. In my opinion, many of these Amite political leaders of the various countries of the land of Ham should set a standard hourly wages per hour for many of their unskilled laborers for them to receive per week. Just like that of the United States, where the government set a standard hourly rate for many of their unskilled workers to receive as a decent wage for them to live and survive by per week. These political leaders of the various countries of the land of Ham should make a standard law that many of their poor Amite workers who are working for these foreign companies should receive some form of medical assistance for many of their poor Amite workers working for these companies as a form of health benefit. The people of Europe and the Chinese people of what became known as Asia would not allow any Amite people who have money to come into to use many of their poor brothers and sisters as cheap laborers working for them, like how many Amite leaders of the land of Am would do. By allowing many foreign companies to come into the land of Am to open their business and to use many of their poor Amite brothers and sisters as cheap laborers, that many of them can hardly survive and live by these poor wages that do not match up to the cost of living. It's about time many of these foolish political Amite leaders of the land of Am, who see themselves as leaders and president of their own people, to wake up in the interest of their poor people of the land of Am for their betterment and their well-being, instead of many of them going into political office to look out for their own pockets to get rich. This is the real truth, though it might be offensive to some people, but it has to be told to wake up some of these foolish Amite leaders who see themselves as leaders of their own people, but who are only leaders of their own pockets to get rich from their political office that was set up by the European people for their colonies to follow as a way of life. Thank you, YouTube, for giving me this opportunity to elaborate on this video, because it's the truth. And I know that the truth causes offense, but again, many of these foolish Amite political leaders who see themselves as leaders and president of their own people need to wake up and to establish a better living condition for their many poor and unfortunate brothers, and not just only for their pockets to get rich. Thank you. Take care.